Guys,
Evening. All right, so now we will be living on Facebook. All right. Mhm. Okay, setting up. All right, I think we're live now on Facebook. So good evening, Sir DJ. Good evening, Mr. M. So
hi, good
tonight,
evening, Miss Gladys.
so tonight we'll be talking about essay writing hacks by Sir DJ from World English Reviews. So how are you guys?
We're good.
I'm doing great.
All right, so I think let's start. Let's start the clock.
Okay, so I have the floor. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we'll be talking about the writing test. This is the biggest challenge actually for most of the nurses taking the IELTS test. I would just like to ask something. Huh? I want, I always want my lectures to be participative. So yeah, just participate as much as you can. Please get some paper and a pencil. Kung walang pencil, you can get a ball pen. Okay, I'm gonna give you a minute to do that one. Okay, so instead of just listening, you will be able to learn this better if you actually exert effort and participate. Don't worry, I won't be forcing anyone to share their answers. Okay, unless you want to. Okay, pero the best thing to learn, the best way to learn something is to actually do it. Yeah, so please get a piece of paper. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do some things tonight. Okay. Just type ready in the chat box if you already have your paper and your pencil with you, so I can proceed. Okay. And meron na nag-reply. So we have one person ready. Jazine, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, how about the rest? Are you ready? Okay. Okay, that's two people. I'll wait for one more to confirm. So for the newcomers, please prepare some paper and a pencil so we can participate in tonight's activities. Ayan. Okay,
On
I think
Facebook,
most
sir,
of
they
us
are
are
all
ready.
ready. Facebook, they're
Okay,
all
all right.
ready.
Excellent. All right. So first, let me welcome all of you. So tonight is the free IELTS lecture with my company, World English Reviews, and CELTA certified Band 9 educators. I'm one of them. I've been training with British Council and IDP Australia since 2006. Okay. And welcome po. Our company's World English. So the topic of today is all about essay writing. Let's call it essay writing hacks. Okay. Some rules of conduct. Please type your questions, okay, in the chat box or in the comment box, and we'll be answering all of your questions later. Okay, and please enjoy the seminar. Do not ask to hesitate questions. Habang libre po. Okay, your hosts are experts on the subject, and yeah, informations about review programs will be given at the end of the session. So your speaker for today is that's me. Okay, so I guess I'll introduce myself. So my full name is Lee J. Desus. I started teaching in 2005. So I teach English, IELTS, OET. I also help people prepare for their civil service test. Okay, and I've trained people for the call center industry. I've taken my IELTS. I got a band score 9, and I'm civil service eligible also, professional level. One of the most important qualifications I have is my CELTA. So it's a Cambridge CELTA qualification, and very few teachers in the Philippines has this qualification because frankly speaking, it's a bit expensive. It's a 5-week program. It's 100,000 pesos. Okay, and what else? Yeah, I'm not bland. I'm not blonde. I don't have a British accent, but I was still able to achieve a band score 9 in my test. So I hope to help you help you achieve your targets too. And another one of the teachers in my company, this one is Sir Barry. I think he also has talks with IFNG every Tuesday. Tama ba ako, ma'am? Or is it on another day? Tuesday
Yes,
ba
sir.
si Sir
Every
Barry?
Tuesday. Every Tuesday.
I see. All right. And yeah, so if you enroll in our company, you're gonna be working with either one of us or probably both of us. Okay, he started teaching in 2016. Before this, he was what, a lawyer in the UK in London for about 15 years. Okay, he trains for both general training and academic and also business English. Of course, has a perfect score, natural in the IELTS test, and has a CELTA qualification and a master diploma in TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. So kami po ang main teachers ng company. Okay, we don't have like 30 or 40 teachers. Okay, we have a small pool because we're very selective about the people that we employ. We only want the highest quality. All right, so let's get into it. Right, so a lot of people, okay, have difficulty achieving that target band score in writing. In some countries, you're required to get 7. Okay, we're very lucky. Nurses are very lucky that in the UK they actually lowered the target score. It's only what 6.5 now, and in the US you can actually get away with just getting a 6 as long as you get 7 in speaking. But if you really want to open up the world, kung gusto niyo talagang magbukas yung mundo para sa inyo, okay, you should be targeting a skill, a band score of level 7. Okay, and it's easier said than done. Why? It's the hardest skill to learn among the four. So you have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Um, Speaking is actually a bit easier than writing. Okay, they're a bit more lenient with the grading there. Listening and reading, you can even learn that on your own. Okay, if you're good at noticing patterns. Okay, familiarization lang naman yung listening and reading. Pero yung writing, yeah, the learning curve for writing is a bit longer, and sometimes people get frustrated. Okay, because it's been like 2 or 3 weeks and they're still not seeing any improvement in their scores. But I'm telling you guys, don't be frustrated. Okay, when it seems that there's very little improvement, okay, or you're not improving as quickly as you want to, because it does take time. But then, after maybe a month, after writing 10 essays, something will click and your improvement will be very quick. I've seen that happen. I've been teaching for about 16 years. Okay, all you need is what? Patience. Be patient with yourself, be a little bit more forgiving, and also, well, practice. Okay, because I've seen people attend a lecture and then they expect to get to band 6.5 or 7, the next day. Hindi po, it won't happen that way. You have to apply what you learned. Okay, that's why I ask you to get some paper and pencil so that we can actually apply these lessons. Okay, so let me tell you all about the basic format. Siyempre, dapat alam natin yung format. One of the things you should know is the format of the test. Okay, and let me share another slide for the format. Okay, this is from an earlier uh, presentation. Let me just get to the writing portion. Here you go. So the writing test will happen at about past 11. Okay, the first test is listening at around 9:10 or 9:15, and then reading at about 10 a.m. and then writing will be your last test in the morning, maybe 11:05, 11:10. Hopefully you don't start at 11:15. Okay, and you'll be given 60 minutes total to write 2 tasks. I'm assuming most of your nurses here, no? So task 1 will be a report. Okay, that's for academic test takers. Now, another version of the test is the GT test. So general training candidates will be writing a letter. And this is kind of funny for me because personally, I see the report as the most difficult IELTS test. Okay. On the other hand, the letter is probably the easiest. So pareho silang task one. They're both task ones, but they're also the easiest and the hardest at the same time. Okay. Your task two, well, it's the same for everyone. It's an essay, although they will give different topics for academic test takers and for general training candidates. Okay. For task one, you're required to write 150 words minimum. That means no less than. Okay. Suggested time is 20 minutes, while the essay will require you at least 250 words. Suggested time is 40 minutes. However, do you really need to follow these time limits? No, not really, because during the test, they will give you both sets at once. No, task one, task two, here they are. You have 1 hour. Okay, they won't give you task one first, tapos sasabihin na, okay, 20 minutes are up, submit your papers. No, it won't happen that way. They will give you task one, task two, boom, you have 1 hour. Boom. It's up to you how to manage that time. All right. So kung gusto nyo, if you want, you can actually spend like 30 minutes on task one and 30 minutes on task two. However, is that a wise move? No, definitely not. Okay. In fact, if you can spend less than 20 minutes for task one, that would be much better for you. Why? Because task one is shorter, 150 lang to task two is longer. So it makes sense that you spend more time there. And here's the thing. Do you know how they compute for your final score for writing? Task one only gives you 33% of your score. That's 1/3 of your score. Ito yun. This is it. Okay. The remaining 67%, that's times 2 plus 1, 33 times 2, 66 plus 1, 67%. That's 2/3 of your score will come from writing task 2. So which one is more important? Siyempre, yung essay ninyo. In fact, if you get 6.5 in task 1, 7 in task 2, congratulations, you get a 7. However, if you only get 6.5 in task 2, kahit na 7 pa yung task 1 mo, then you still get 6.5. Okay? So it's important that you know how to invest your time properly. So in the 2040, if you can finish it in 18 minutes, so you can spend like 42 minutes on task 2, please do so. Okay? Now, grading criteria. There are only 4 areas, okay, that they look at. First is task achievement. Let me simplify things for you. Nagawa mo ba yung pinagpagawa? Were you able to write about the things they wanted you to write about? Were you able to fulfill the requirements? What are the requirements? Ayan, word count. So if you don't write at least 250 words for task 2 or 150 at least for task 1, then you receive a deduction. Saan? Not in grammar, okay, but in task achievement only. Yan. If they ask you to discuss both views and you only discuss one side, then of course you get a low score. I think the maximum score for that is 5. Okay? So make sure that you're really writing about what they want you to write about. Okay? Para namang, sir, may nagkakamali ba dyan? Unfortunately, yes. Okay? I see that kind of mistake every week. Okay? So task achievement, were you able to do what they're asking you to do? Next, 25% coherence and cohesion. It sounds so complicated. So again, let's simplify it. It just means organization. Are you organized? Okay. Is your essay easy to follow? Does it contain the basic parts, intro, body, conclusion? Okay, later I'm going to teach you some hacks on how to easily get high scores for each of these areas. Okay. The next 1/4 or 25% of your score comes from lexical resource, another complicated sounding term, but you can simplify that to vocabulary. So what are they looking at here? They're looking at both, okay, the range of your vocabulary and the accuracy of your vocabulary. Okay, what is range? Yung lawak. Okay, do you know, high level terms in our, okay, can you are you showing them to your examiner? Ganun po eh. So how do you show good vocabulary? First of all, but by not, by not trying to copy all the words from the question. Use your own words. Okay. To get a band 6, you need to show range. Okay, for lexical resource. How to get a band 7 for vocabulary or lexical resource? You have to show accuracy. Remember this, just because you use some complicated terms doesn't mean you're going to get a 7 already, because the examiners look at, the proper usage of these terms. Okay, they might sound complicated, but do they fit in the sentence? Remember, okay, I'm emphasizing this because this is where a lot of people what make mistakes. Okay, I've met a lot of candidates who should have been a 7 already. Okay, when it comes to lexical resource, and then they attend IELTS classes or they listen to an IELTS teacher, and then their lexical score resource score goes down to 6. 7 na sila. Okay, then they go down to 6. Why? Because they focus too much on using very difficult and very technical terms, and they forgot something important. Words do not exist by themselves. Diba? They are located within a sentence. So when the examiners grade this, they don't look at the word only. They take a look at how you used it in the sentence. Bagay ba? Is it natural? Okay. Do you see this in books? Do you see this in reputable publications? Okay. Do educated people write like this? Ganun yun eh. Because sometimes candidates invent their own terminologies. Hindi. You just need to use what's in common usage. Okay. In reputable publications. Okay. By reputable authors. Ganun lang po yan. Um, Lexical resource, I don't think it's that hard to get a good score there. In fact, according to the IELTS.org statistics, okay, the most common score, I think about 23 or 24% of candidates get 6.5. Okay, that's the most common score in the world, and it's 6 task achievement, 6 coherence and cohesion, 7 lexical resource, and 7 grammar. So the most common score in the world is 6,677, and you'd be surprised that most people can actually easily get 7 in lexical resource and 7 in grammar. I know a lot of candidates are worried about their grammar and about their vocabulary, pero you should be more worried about the first two: task achievement, coherence, and cohesion. This is where a lot of people make mistakes. Okay, guys, if you have questions, type it in, and if it's relevant, we'll try to answer it right away. Okay, so any questions about the grading criteria? Sige, type nyo lang. Now, let's go into more detail. So, I promised some hacks, right? So, here we go. What are some of the things that I want you to remember? Some advice from 16 years of teaching IELTS and taking the test. Number one, okay, know the penalties. Know the major penalties so that you can avoid them. Okay, and what are these major penalties? I hope you're taking down notes. Okay, let me show you what the major penalties are. Okay, here is the IELTS writing answer sheet. This is very similar to what you're gonna get during the test. I'd say it's 95% similar. Okay, let me just zoom out a bit. Okay, so it's front and back. Obviously, you use this for the paper-based version of the test, not the computer-based version. For the computer-based version, the question will be on the left, writing space will be on the right, and then there's an automatic word count at the bottom of the screen. But most of you will be taking the paper-based test. So this is what it looks like. This is the front page. Here you go. Uh-huh. Whoa. Zoom in, please. Okay, there you go. So don't worry about the candidate name, candidate number, test date. They will instruct you on how to write those, okay, on test day. Let's go down. So there's some space for you to write. And then at the bottom, it says, do not write in this area. Please continue your answer on the other side of this sheet. Okay, let's take a look at the other side. Okay, you need to write your candidate number there on the upper left part. Then more writing space for you. And finally, at the bottom, you have the grading sheet, okay, which is exclusive for the examiner's use. Please do not write anything on this one. Okay, don't write anything there because that's for the examiner's use only. So, how many people check the paper? Sige nga, tingnan natin. So, can you type your answer in the chat box? How many people, how many examiners will be checking your paper? You can just type the number. Come on, guys, take a guess. Hmm. Okay, two people. Nobody's saying one, and nobody's saying three. All right, it's gonna be at least two people. It might be three. Okay, it might be three. Kailan siya nagtatatlo? Okay, if the two people, if the two examiners checking your paper don't give the same score, okay, then it will be checked by a third examiner, a senior examiner, in fact. Okay, but that's not very common. Most of the time, okay, the scores match. Okay, because they have to give you the same score. Otherwise, that means there's an inconsistency, and they have to be consistent because this is a high stakes test. You're paying so much money for this one. Anyway, the first examiner will be using the space at the bottom. It's a bit weird, diba? Usually it's number one on top and then number two at the bottom. But for this, for the IELTS test, okay, two comes before one. Bakit kaya? Because after grading you, this piece of paper will be torn off. Okay, so pupunitin po yan. Yan, tatanggalin yan. They will remove that part so that the second examiner will not see the grades given by the first one. And that's very important. Why? It means they will not influence each other's grading, so there will be more accuracy. Do they do that in other tests? Most of the tests that we do, okay, in our lives, hindi po ganun. There's one checker. Or if there are several checkers, they actually see what the other one is doing, which is not, not a good practice. Ito, that's why I like the IELTS test because of these kinds of things. Okay? Pupunitin po yan. Right. So, what are the penalties that I'm talking about? Okay? Please pay attention. I'm going to zoom in here. Yeah. Mabuhay. All right, guys. So, first, let's focus on the set of boxes in the middle. Yeah. So there are three boxes, and they say under length, number of words, and penalty. Okay, so ano yung number of words? The examiners are required to write how many words you wrote on the paper. So a lot of the time, most of the time, you will see examiners, okay, slouch over like this and then counting with their pencils because they are required to count. Okay, so if they are required to count, then I think you should also count because I've seen people, I've checked papers that are under length because the candidate didn't count. Sir, I ran out of time, sir. Okay. That's not really an excuse, If you run out of time, then do something about it. Okay. Sir, I don't think I need to count. I'm confident about the word count, sir. Okay. Examiners count. Okay. So if you really want a good grade, then you should do what they're doing. So bilangin nyo. Make sure that you're writing at least, okay, the minimum number of words. So they will write it there. Now, if you're under length, they will write something here in this box, probably the number of words missing. Okay, and then the appropriate penalty here inside the third box. Okay, so that's one of the easy penalties to avoid. So please make sure that you know how many words you're writing. Okay, sir, is it enough? Is the space in the answer sheet enough to write 250 words? Yeah, it may surprise you. Most people don't require a third sheet anyway. For those very few who have big handwriting, large lettering, you can just raise your hand and ask for another one. They will have extra sheets prepared. All right. But in my experience, most people, they don't even need to fill out the whole thing. Okay. If you can fill out the front page and then over half of the back page, then that's probably 250 already. Well, it depends on the size of your handwriting. Okay, let's move on to the other penalties you should be avoiding, because these are major.
Ang ninyo nga.
Thank you. Because these are major penalties. Okay, off topic, memorized, and illegible. Okay, the three major penalties you should be
Wala
avoiding.
lang
Why?
tigibi gabi mo. Tangaga na lang sa nagibi.
Yes. Thank you. Ma'am Bolivar, na-unmute po kayo. Yeah, I think you're not doing it on purpose, so be careful lang. So anyway, maayong gabi sa inyo tanan. Yan. Sa imong tanan, tama ba? Anyway, so off topic, memorized and illegible. Okay, why are these major? Because you can get band score 1 because of these. Okay, let's start with off topic. Okay, if parts of your essay are slightly off topic, maybe the second paragraph or the third paragraph, or maybe even the conclusion, then that will pull down your score for task achievement to a band score 5. However, if your whole essay is off topic, and yes, I've seen they're more common than you think. If the whole essay is off topic, then they will automatically give you a band 1 for everything. So you will pay over 11,000 pesos to take the test just to get a band score 1. I've seen it happen. So make sure that you spend enough time really thinking about what the topic is and thinking about your ideas if they are relevant, because sometimes you think they are pero hindi naman. Okay? The next major penalty is memorized. Let's erase that. Okay? So paano yung memorized na yan? It means that you just probably copied the wordings from the questions and then you just repeated them over and over in your essay. That's one way that it's memorized. Secondly, I've seen someone write a very nice essay. It was quite good, but it had totally no relation to the topic. So that was an indicator. And then when I asked him about it, he said that he memorized that essay talaga. He really did. And that whatever the question was, okay, yun ang sinusulat niya, which is kind of sad. Okay, but it happens. So guys, make sure that you paraphrase, make sure that you use your own words. Off topic is more common than memorized. And finally, illegible. This one. What is illegible? It means the examiner cannot understand your handwriting. Okay, I actually interviewed an examiner from IDP about this. So he's retired now. He worked for 15 years with IDP. So I asked him, how often does he give a penalty for illegible? By the way, an illegible output will get you a band score 1. So all of these three, okay, can possibly lower your score, okay, to a band 1. So be careful. So going back to my story. So I asked this male examiner, how many penalties in 15 years has he given for this kind of situation? He said, 0. Okay. He's encountered some illegible outputs, but what they do is if the first examiner doesn't understand, they give it to another examiner. So they will give you a chance. If the second examiner still cannot understand your handwriting, then they will give it to a third examiner. So they will give you a chance. Now, if the third examiner can't understand your handwriting, then you get a band score 1. Hey, I hope nobody in the audience has a problem with their handwriting. Okay, so it doesn't need to be nice. It doesn't need to be beautiful, but it needs to be legible. They need to be able to understand it. If you really have terrible, illegible handwriting, just take the computer-based test. Okay, because in the computer-based test, legibility is not an issue because you're just typing. You're using a keyboard, so it will be understandable. All right. Okay, but this is a very rare penalty anyway. So please learn how to avoid them. That's the first tip that I can give you. You should know the penalties. Okay. Next, you should know the grading system. I already gave you a preview. Okay, but I want to be a little bit more detailed about it. So Where can we find this? I'm using the public version of the grading system. All right, and this is downloadable. You can actually download this online. Okay, just go to ielts.org and it's gonna be there. So anyway, most of you are targeting a band 7. So how do you get that score? Tingnan po natin. Mhm. Let's zoom in. There you go. There you go. So let's start with task achievement. Okay, never mind 9. Tignan natin yung band 7 because that is what most of you, that's the score most of you require. Yeah. Let me read it for you. Addresses all parts of the task. Yeah. So did you answer everything? If they ask you for problems and solutions, you should address both. If you only write about the problems, then you will not get a 7. In fact, you won't even get a 6. Maximum score for that is 5. Okay. So are you addressing all parts of the task? If they ask you to discuss both views and give your opinion, make sure you're doing that. Because if you don't give your own side, then you will not get a 7. Probably just a 5. If you're lucky, maybe a 6, but never a 7. Okay. Next bullet point. Presents a clear position throughout the response. Anong ibig sabihin yan? It means that you're not confusing to read, that you are consistent. Okay. Some people ask me, sir, where do we express our opinion? Well, you express your opinion in the intro, in the body, in the conclusion. Okay? Does it sound obvious to you? Yeah, parang obvious, di ba? Pero I've seen papers I've seen candidates who actually don't say anything. No indicator at all in their first paragraph what their opinion is. So, the reader has to guess. If the reader has to guess your opinion, then it's not good writing for the IELTS test. Maybe for another type of writing, pwede, but not for the IELTS, not for the purposes of this international exam. Okay? And I've seen some candidates who said agree at the beginning, and then at the end, they said, it depends. Nako, hindi po pwede yun. If you want to say it depends, it should be it depends in the intro, it depends in the body, it depends in the conclusion. So consistency is key. A clear position throughout the essay. It didn't say clear position in the intro. It did not say clear position in the conclusion. It says throughout the essay, throughout the response. Okay? And third condition to get band 7. You need to present, extend, and support your main ideas. Some people have a lot of ideas. That's good for them. But they write their essay like a list. Hindi po pwede. It's not a contest of how many ideas you have. It's a contest of explanation. In fact, you should only have one major idea for each body paragraph, and then learn how to develop them and explain them. Just because you already said something, just because you wrote a statement about something, doesn't mean it's already fully explained. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. Maybe you can discuss the other side, or maybe you can give examples. You can talk about more specific situations, right? Hopefully, I'll be able to show this to you later. So, ayan po. That's what you need to get a band 7, right? What if, let's take a look at band 5. There's something important here. Okay, what if you forgot to answer some of the questions? Maybe they ask you for the advantages and disadvantages, and then you got carried away. Disadvantages lang ang sinulat mo. Then that's a band 5 because band 5 addresses the task only partially. That's a partial answer. Okay. Second thing you should avoid, expresses a position, but the development is not always clear. And here's the clincher. There may be no conclusions drawn. So have you tried writing an IELTS essay? Did you follow the time limit? Were you able to write a conclusion before the 40 minutes were done? Sir, I ran out of time. I was only in paragraph 2. I wasn't able to write my conclusion. Then the maximum score for you for task achievement is band 5 because band 5 says no conclusions. That's band 5. Ang tawag dyan, ceiling score. Ceiling, because that's the highest. That's the ceiling. That's the highest score that you can get. Okay. So always make sure that before the time ends, you've written a conclusion. And that it's not that difficult because the conclusion is supposed to be the shortest paragraph. In fact, okay, one sentence conclusions are actually what are actually effective if you do them properly. Okay. So conclusion, I'd say maybe 1 to 2 sentences only. Okay. So if you sense that you're running out of time, for instance, in announce nila yung oras, you have 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes remaining. So what do? And you're still writing your body paragraph. You stop doing that. You skip 5 or 6 lines, 5 or 6 spaces, and then write a 1 sentence conclusion. You can probably do that in 2 minutes. Okay. And then if you have time, then you can go back to your previous paragraph. Just make sure that you write a conclusion, because if you write a conclusion, they have to give you 6. Let me show it to you. So that's a hack. Look here. Presents the relevant position, although the conclusions may become unclear or repetitive. Look, the conclusion is not clear. The conclusion is just a repetition of the initial statement in the intro. Pero may conclusion ka, that's a 6. So what's the difference between 5 and a 6? The band 5 didn't try. Okay, the band 5 didn't try to write a conclusion. The band 6 tried. Okay, it wasn't a good conclusion, but the band 6 tried. Kaya binigyan siya ng 6. Okay, paano yung band 7? The band 7 wrote a conclusion and it's relevant. Okay, and it's good enough. That's a band 7. Sir, paano makaka-9? The conclusion is beautiful. It's a good thing no one is requiring you to get a band score 9 in writing, because that's quite hard to achieve. Okay, pero yung 7, kayang-kaya yan with enough practice. It's achievable. With good feedback from good writers, okay, then you'll be able to achieve that. From good writers, no? Kasi I, I met some people who were trying for a 7, and then they were getting writing feedback from people who only got 6. Hindi pwede. A 6 cannot tell you that you're a 7. No, only somebody who got a higher score can do that. All right. So that is task achievement. Most people, the most common score for this is 6 globally, and I think also in the Philippines for task achievement. Okay. Next, another problem area for most candidates: coherence and cohesion, also known as organization. Let's take a look at band 7. Band 7 says, logically organizes information and ideas. There is a clear progression throughout. Okay. So guys, just because you wrote something doesn't mean you're going to get a good score, because it has to be logical. Sometimes I ask students, okay, ma'am, why did you decide to move on to the next paragraph? Sir, because it already looks too long. So to my eyes, it's too long. I went to the next paragraph. Okay, that can be a start, but it needs to be more logical than that. Okay, because sometimes I see a paragraph, but they're like what, 5 topics there? No, there should be one main topic in each paragraph. Okay, di pwedeng halo-halo. Right? And there must be a clear progression. What is that? Intro, body, conclusion. So if you don't write a conclusion, tatamaan na yung task achievement. It will, your task achievement will suffer, and your grade for cohesion and coherence will also suffer. That's why the conclusion is very important. Okay? Because it is a requirement. There is a clear progression throughout. Okay? Another thing you need to watch out for: uses a range of cohesive devices appropriately, although there may be some overuse or underuse. What are cohesive devices? In my opinion, as I see it, first of all, secondly, thirdly, finally, lastly, in addition, moreover, furthermore. Yet, however, on the other hand, also, in addition to this, another advantage is, you know, you also call them signposting words or signpost phrases, okay? Because they tell the reader what you're gonna do next. Okay, it helps the reader understand what understand your message, and understand what you're trying to do. Signposting, diba? If you see somebody write in conclusion, then you know they're finishing it. Kasi nga in conclusion, just make sure that you're using them properly, and you're not being repetitive. Okay, For instance, you can use on the other hand maybe a maximum of 2 times, no? Twice in the whole essay. It would be better if you only use it once, pero twice maximum, but not in the same paragraph. Make sure they're in, in different paragraphs. Okay. So anyway, third condition presents a clear central topic within each paragraph. If the examiner cannot identify what your central topic is, okay, in the body paragraphs, then you won't get a 7. And this is easier than you think. It just requires a bit of preparation. I'm gonna teach you how to do that later. Okay. Next, next part of the grading system. Next 25% comes from Lexical Resource. And how to get a high score here for Lexical Resource. Let's take a look at band 7. Oops, that's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 9. Here we go. Okay, let me read. Uses a sufficient range of vocabulary to allow some flexibility and precision. Okay, what does that mean? It means don't just copy the words from the question. If they use the word woman or women in the question, maybe you can use other words like females, okay, or the opposite gender or the fairer sex. You can even use words like, female words like mother, sister. You can use specific words. Okay. If they say government in the question, okay, and you write your essay, wag naman puro government, 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 conclusion, government, because there are other words you can use. You can use the authorities. You can say the leaders of the nation. Okay, you can say the administration. So please show them that you know other words. You're not just relying on the question. Palitan po natin. However, be careful about overdoing it because I've seen people do that. If you're the only one, who understands the new words that you or new phrases that you invented, don't expect a high score. You should be using, words in common use in reputable institutions, in reputable publications. Okay. Second bullet point uses less common lexical items with some awareness of style and collocation. Now, here's the thing. How does the examiner know if it's a less common lexical item or not? Through experience, by reading books, by reading journals, okay, through training. Okay, this is actually going to be a bit difficult to explain to somebody who isn't a reader. Okay? Pero ganito lang yan. And because I've heard some students who came from other review centers, okay, who were advised by their teachers to use idiomatic expressions. The grass is greener on the other side, barking up the wrong tree. Now, be careful about that because you might be penalized for that. It can be considered as what memorized language. You don't have to use idiomatic expressions per se, okay, because it says less common lexical items. It did not say uses idiomatic expressions. So be careful about that. Okay, if I were you, I wouldn't be worried because if you graduated from college, you're probably a 7 already. You just have to reactivate some of the terminologies that you learned. And by the way, you don't need to use words at the 3rd year or 4th year or 5th year level, okay, of university. Okay, band 7 in my estimation is just what, 1st year, 2nd year college. Okay, ano ba yung difference no 1st year, 2nd year college, 3rd year, 4th year? Well, usually we take general subjects in the first 2 years. Okay, and then our 3rd year and 4th years are, they're more specialized. So, you don't need very, very specific language from your field. Okay, you just need the general educated English used in your general education classes, like in your English classes, in your history classes. Yun po. Okay, 1st year, 2nd year lang yan. So if you know the words physiological and psychological, okay, and you know how to use them properly, you can actually get a band 9 from that. Pwede na yun eh. Okay, if you know words like what language barriers, racial discrimination, and culture shock, and you know how to use them properly within a sentence, then that's already a possible band 9. Okay, because you'd be surprised. Okay, some people when I show them essays, they cannot believe that it's a band 9, but it is. It's graded by an examiner. All right. So anyway, that's for vocabulary. How to improve your vocabulary? Read more. When you do your reading tests, I hope that once a week you go back to these reading tests, and then you just read the text. Don't read the questions. Read the text, and then if you see words or terms you don't understand, Google nyo. You're so lucky nowadays you have Google. When I started 2005, we didn't have a lot of the tools available to you today. We didn't have what? We didn't have your nice cell phones. My students in 2005, they wanted to record themselves and listen to themselves, but they had to use cassette tapes to do that. And nowadays you just get your phone. It's basically a computer. Daming pwedeng gawin, right? Let's move on to the last portion. The last 25% comes from grammar. A lot of people are afraid of this. You don't have to be. So what are the secrets? Tignan natin to. Band 7 uses a variety of complex structures. Band 6 uses a mix of simple and complex sentence forms. And Band 5 uses only a limited range of structures. So what are these structures that they're talking about? You have simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, and compound complex sentences. So if you want a band 7, most of your sentences should either be complex or compound complex. Not too many of the simple and the compound sentences. Okay? So about 70% of your sentences, okay, should be complex structures. Sir, how do they know that? First of all, through experience. Okay, experienced examiners can estimate that after rating hundreds of papers, they can usually do it after reading your essay for about a minute. Okay? Okay, but the others actually count it. Okay, especially if you're gonna have your papers rechecked. Okay, guys, I hope you know that you can actually have a rechecking. Okay, for rechecking, they will definitely count the number of sentences. Okay, 70% would be considered a variety of complex structures. Now, if half of your sentences are simple sentences or just compound sentences, then that might lower your score to a band 6. Okay, so let me simplify it for you. Don't write too many short sentences because most sentences you can connect. Okay, so ganito na lang. You limit yourself to one short sentence per paragraph. That's safe. Okay? Limit yourself to one short sentence per paragraph. The rest should be of the longer variety. Right? Next, produces frequent error-free sentences. And they also grade punctuation here, punctuation marks. By the way, please avoid using exclamation points, question marks, because you're supposed to write statements, not ask questions. Okay, don't use emojis, emoticons. Okay, you can get away with 3 punctuation marks. What are these? Of course, the most common one is the period, another one is the comma, and a little bit less common would be your apostrophe. Okay, so tatlo lang kailangan ninyo. Let me go back. Produces frequent error-free sentences. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Most of your sentences don't have grammatical errors. Naku, sir, when my teacher checked my paper, all of the sentences had red markings on them. Paano yan? Guys, not everything that the teacher marks is a grammatical error. There are 4 areas here. When they grade your grammar, they're only looking at grammatical errors. Okay. So what's the limit? About, about 30%. So ganun din, 30-70. Okay. If the number of grammatical errors does not exceed 30%, then you get a band 7. Okay. Sir, how do we know that? Simple. Count your sentences. Okay. The examiners count your words. They count your sentences. If you're really serious about this, you should start doing the same. Okay. Let me give you a simple hack. on how to easily increase your score. Either you're from a 5 to a 6 or from a 6 to a 7. Ganito lang yan. You don't need to have perfect grammar. What you need to do is identify the two most common grammar errors that you have. That's it. Okay, just the two most common grammar errors, and then focus on improving those. Okay, and if you improve them before the test, if you still have time after that, then look for another set, okay, of two very common grammatical errors that you commit, and then work on fixing those. Okay, if you do it this way, it becomes less challenging, it becomes easier to fix, and it gives you focus. Okay, the question is, how do you find those two common grammatical errors? Again, get somebody good to tell you. Maybe somebody who got a 9. All right. So that's the grading system, and those are the hacks. So do you have questions so far? You can either type or you can turn on your microphones for those in the Zoom meeting room with us. How many do we have? I think we have 35 right now. Okay, in the Zoom room. How about on FB Live? How many do we have? I'm curious. I'm not monitoring. Okay, sige, I'm gonna wait for it. So pakitype na lang po kung ilan yung audience natin. Um, so what's the next part? Let's go back to the hacks. So make sure you know the grading system. So we're done with that. Next. Let's focus a bit on the word count. So how many words do you need? At least 250 words. What's the maximum? There's no maximum. Okay. However, please do not write like 300, 310, 350, 400 words. Why? Because the more you write, the more mistakes you will make. Okay? The more you write, the more mistakes you will make. You can actually get a band score 9 with exactly 250 words. Okay? If it's not possible, then they wouldn't have required it. Okay? If you need 300 words to get a 9, they would require 300, not 250. So it's not a trick. Okay? And according to studies, okay, from British Council Hong Kong, they studied like I think 1,000 or more papers, and then they looked for patterns. Most people who get high band scores, 7, 8, or 9, okay, memorize it or write it down. They write between 270 and 280 words. Ulitin ko, let me repeat. Most people who get high band score, 7, 8, or 9, okay, they write between 270 and 280. If you exceed 280, okay, if you reach 300, the tendency is for the score to go down. It's like a bell curve. Okay, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300. So bell curve siya, 70 and 80. Okay, 35 Zoom participants and 89 from FB Live. Yeah, nice to nice to meet you guys. I hope you're learning. Okay, if you have questions, type lang po kayo. So guys, 270, 280. Yeah, that's the maximum. That's the optimum number. Next. Do I want to discuss this already? Can I discuss the others? Okay, sige. Next, please spend enough time on pre-writing. Okay, so you have 40 minutes, right? Okay, if you're already writing your essay within 2 minutes, that's a bad sign. Okay, the first 5 minutes should be spent just on pre-writing, and it's composed of 3 steps. What are these? Okay, analysis, and then you work on your vocabulary, and then you work on your outline. So these are the 3 things you should do in the first 5 minutes. Okay, again, if you're already writing within the first 2 minutes, that might be a bad sign for you. So ano ito mga to? Analysis, make sure that you understand what the question is. Because there are some tricky questions. There are a lot of tricky questions actually. Make sure that it's very clear that you're reading it with an open mind and you're not interpreting it according to your own personal experience lang. Because you need to remember these questions were not written by Filipinos in the Philippines. They were written by people in Cambridge. Okay. So when they ask these questions, they're basing it from their own experience. Of course, they try to be, as careful as they can when designing questions because questions have to be what international. Okay. And they're supposed to be, topics that any college graduate can discuss. Although it causes a problem in some countries because, for instance, in the Philippines, when we get questions about music and about art and about museums, sometimes we shut down because it's not part of our reality. People from poor countries don't spend a lot of time on these things because they're busy looking for work or earning a living. Okay, pero sa kanila, because they wrote it, for them it's easy, it's normal. Okay, so there's a little bit of unfairness there, but can't do anything about that because you want to work in their countries. So make sure that you're analyzing it properly. You're not looking at it from a Filipino point of view. Look at it from an international point of view. Okay. Next, vocabulary. Isolate isolate the keywords in the question. So take a look at the question. Which of these words will I be repeating over and over again when I write my essay? Usually, ano lang yan, you only need to find like four to six words. Okay. And then use your imagination and then think of synonyms. I'm going to show you how to do this in detail. I think, yeah. Okay. We will have enough time for that. I might be able to write an essay for you guys. And finally, make sure to write an outline. An outline is just a plan of your essay. How do you write an outline? Write numbers. Okay, one. Just write I for intro. Okay, let me write the whole thing. And then you have the body paragraph, and then your conclusion. All right. Sometimes it's 5 paragraphs. This one is optional. Okay. Sometimes you need 5, but most of the time you need 4. So alam nyo na ngayon, no? How many paragraphs to write? 4 to 5 paragraphs. Okay. Of course, this isn't it. This is just a skeleton. Okay. We need to put, the main ideas that you're going to be discussing. But please write an outline. Why? If you don't write an outline, tendency is your essay will become disorganized or you will forget something. You will forget one of your arguments or one of your ideas. Right. So outlining is very important. I outlined. I got 9 because of that. So I think it's a pretty good practice. Okay, and next hack. Know about the paragraphing patterns. Yan, may mga patterns po kasi yan eh. Oh, okay, we have a question here. Is it okay to indent the first line of every paragraph? Yeah, it's fine. If you want to indent it, that's fine. If you don't want to indent it, that's also fine. Right? Would you like to see an essay written by an examiner? So let me show you. Uh, let's see what the examiner did. Okay. Let me just find it. Okay. So segue lang ako. So let's take a little detour. Okay. So this is from one of our workshops, right? So let's take a look at the topic. Maybe we can zoom in a bit if it's a bit small. Guys, if you cannot see it, please tell me. Please tell me so I can make adjustments. All right. I'm willing to adjust for you guys. Sabihin nyo lang sa akin. Yan. So it's generally believed that some people are born with certain talents. For instance, for sport or music, and others are not. However, it's sometimes claimed that any child can be taught to become a good sports person or musician. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Very common topic in the IELTS test. Comes out almost every year, sometimes twice a year. Okay. So let's see the comments here. It says this model has been prepared by an examiner. See, as an example of a very good answer. However, please note this is just one example out of many possible approaches. Take a screenshot para may kopya kayo. So let's see what the examiner did. I'm going to zoom out first. Yeah. So how many paragraphs did the examiner write for this? Let's count. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. 5 po. Yan. Did the examiner indent? No. Will there be a penalty if you indent? No. What's important is you show the separation between paragraphs, and the easiest way to do that is to leave spaces. How many spaces do you need to leave? At least one. If you want, you can leave 2, even 3. Okay, sir. What if I have 1 space here and then 2 spaces there and then 3 spaces there? It doesn't matter as long as you have spaces. Okay, so wag masyadong don't be too OC. And in fact, I think it's better to leave at least 2 spaces, especially if you're taking the paper-based test. Okay, so in case you make adjustments, may matitira pa. Right? So yan. And then take a look. Which are the shortest paragraphs? The intro and the conclusion. And of course, the body paragraphs are long. Right? So please take a screenshot so you can study it when you have the time. Yan po. Sige, and I'm gonna give you a minute to read this. Okay? So tingnan niyo yung vocabulary. I think most of you can actually write at this level of vocab. Okay? Hindi naman kailangan highfalutin. You don't need a dictionary to get a band 9. So this is already an examiner, and the words, they don't look that difficult. Okay? So I'm gonna give you 1 minute and go ahead and read. Enjoy it. 1 minute. All right. So I hope you were able to finish reading that. Okay. If you didn't, then take a screenshot. Yan po. So did you see any terms, any words that you don't understand? Maybe some of you did, but most of these vocabulary items used can actually be understood by reading. Okay, by reading the whole sentence, by looking at the context of how they were used. So ganyan po. Believe it or not, even though it looks so simple, that's already a band score 9. Okay, so let's move on para ma-improve natin yung score ninyo. Let's go back to the hacks. Next, you should also know the paragraphing patterns to use. Yeah. Because really, the questions or the tasks that they use in the IELTS are repetitive. Ulit-ulit lang naman yan. They've been using the same pattern since 1989. Okay, the year when IELTS first started. Okay, tagal na rin pala sila, no? 32 years, is that right? Okay, yeah, almost 32 years. So guys, what are these paragraphing patterns? I prepared an exercise for you. So please get your paper and your pencil so you can participate. Well, so take a look at the screen. Yeah. Oh, what happened there? For a moment, having problems with the mouse. Yeah, and I think that's better. Here you go, guys. So what I did here is I got a common topic in the test, and then I listed all the possible tasks that they can ask you. Okay, and ito lang ang gagamitin sa IELTS. These are the only ones that they're gonna use. They might look many, pero konti lang yan. Okay, so let me read the topic first. These days, couples decide to have children later in their lives, in their life. However, others believe that having children earlier is better. Okay, yung unang task, discuss both views. Second task is discuss both views and give your opinion. Third task, what is your opinion? Next one, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay. Fifth one, fifth one, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Number six, what are the benefits and dangers of deciding to have children later in life? Seven, why are couples deciding to have children later? What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? And the last one, do you agree or disagree with this? How is it affecting the family life and society? So I already prepared some outlines for you, some patterns that you can use. Some of them, and I just used the shortcut version. Some of them are more complete. No need to worry about that. So what I want you to do is, if there's somebody there watching with you, maybe you can do this together. But if you're alone, then we have no choice. You have to do it alone. I'm gonna give you a minute, okay, or maybe 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes would be better, okay, to figure this out, no? So matching type lang tayo, very simple. I want you to match the Roman numeral with the proper outline, with the letter. So itong Roman numeral 1, which one would be the best answer to that? Which one would be the best pattern? Because if you memorize these patterns, it will help in immediately increasing your score for cohesion and coherence plus what your task achievement, also your task response. Okay? So 2 minutes po. Yeah, please write your answers on a piece of paper. No need to share them with me unless you want to. Kung gusto niyo i-share, you can type them in the chat box. Okay? Sige po. I will give you 2 minutes for this. See you in 2 minutes. One minute more. 1 minute left. Thirty seconds. Okay, that's 2 minutes. So I hope you were able to answer everything. So tignan po natin. And if you weren't able to, okay lang yan. We're gonna discuss it with you. It's not it's not a quiz. Okay. So the first task, discuss both views. So yung mga gusto mag-participate po, just type it in the chat box. Which one do you think is the best outline? A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Okay, type your answer. Discuss both views. Maganda ba dyan yung letter B? Sayang yung mga FB live participants natin, di ko makikita yung ano, no, yung answers nila. That would be nice. Maybe we can do that the next time. Paano kaya yun? How about from FB? What are the participants typing? Ano daw yung palagay nilang yung palagay nilang sagot?
Ano po, may mga nagsasabi, iba-iba sila eh.
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
from Divina Ann,
Mhm.
G with a question mark. And
Okay.
then
Yeah. Pwedeng mag-question mark. Sige lang.
Tonet MDR, D. Ram
Mhm. Mhm.
Poblete, D. Ayun lang po ang
Mhm.
sumagot.
And I see here that dito naman sa Zoom natin, some are answering G. Okay, guys, okay lang it's okay to make mistakes because this isn't a test yet. Okay, mas maganda magkamali ngayon para pagdating ng test hindi na tayo magkakamali. Okay, um, okay, letter G, pattern G and pattern D, outline G, outline D, they have similarities. Pero kung titignan natin, mas bagay yung letter D. Although this isn't the best outline that you can produce kasi it's just a generic outline, wala yung main ideas niya, right? But for our purposes tonight, okay na tong D. Ayan, no? So you have a short introduction, 2 to 3 sentences. And then sabi niya, discuss both views. So just take a look at the question. Sabi niya, these days, couples decide to have children later in their lives. However, others believe having children earlier is better. May dalawang view doon. As long as you discuss both of them, okay, they can be in any order, by the way. Okay, as long as you discuss both of them, then you're getting off the right foot. Para binaligtad ko yung idiom. Then it's a very good start. All right. So yan, yeah. So congratulations, obviously. Yan, D. Yung kasing G, ano ba yung limitation nitong G? Negatives and positives to eh. It's not really the two views. Okay? So I think these are the negatives and positives of what? Of having children later in life. Mas bagay yun dun. Okay? Next, how about the second one? Discuss both views and give your own opinion. So it's similar to the first one, no? Pero may dagdag siya. Meron siyang and give your opinion. So maganda sigurong gawin doon is you add another paragraph. So I would write 5 paragraphs for this one. Okay? And which do you think is the best answer? So congrats sa mga naka-D kanina. Yan. So ngayon, ito naman. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. Excellent. E. Okay, other answers, puro E. All right. Bakit E? Ayan, may 5 paragraphs. Tapos, one view, other view. Tapos, ayan, my view. Anong sagot nung writer? It depends on the person. Oo nga naman, sir, pwede bang it depends? Oo naman. Because in real life, yun naman talaga yung sagot. It depends. If you're already stable at a young age and you want it and you're emotionally prepared, then go ahead, di ba? Pero kung mas career-focused ka, or maybe you want to achieve things first, then you want to do it later, pwede rin naman. So, there's no, one answer here. Okay, congratulations sa FP, puro E. Nice. Yan. So far, good performance. Okay, and then the sample outlines I gave you are just skeletal. So the next few outlines will be more realistic. Ito yung mga dapat yung ginagawa. Okay? Number 3. What is your opinion? Ito na. Marami nang sagot dyan. So how do you approach that? What is your opinion? So of course, it will not be D and it will not be E. Nagamit na natin yun eh. And they're not asking you to discuss both. Isa lang ang tinatanong sa inyo. Ikaw, ano sa palagay mo? Okay. My, thank you. F. Eds, F. Mhm. And on FP naman, puro A. Tingnan nga natin. um, A. Intro plus opinion. It's better to have them later. Okay. Tapos, main idea of paragraph 2, have them later so that you'll be financially ready. Another argument, you'll be more mature emotionally and psychologically. And paragraph 4, your other relationships will be stable already. And not only with your, with your loved ones, but also with your social support. And then paragraph 5, conclusion. Yes, A is a very good answer to this one. But there's another one. Okay. How about F? Intro, opinion, positive in general effect. I don't think F would be the best one. Why? Kasi bakit? The question doesn't ask for what are the effects on the family life, what are the effects on society. One thing you need to learn about the IELTS test. So you don't need to be extra. No, you don't need to do what you did in college, diba? In college, if you wrote more than what the teacher required, then meron kang plus points. That doesn't apply to IELTS. In IELTS, they want you to write exactly what they're asking you to write, no more and no less. Walang plus points yung dagdag. They didn't ask for the effects on family life and on society. So no, not F. Okay, but there's another answer. Bukod sa letter A, there's another good answer here. Palagay niyo po anong letter. Okay. Clue, malapit lang siya sa A. Excellent, Jazine. So, another good pattern would be B. Okay, kasi yung A, maganda daw, have them later when you're older, di ba? Pero yung B, ang opinion ng writer is have them early when you're younger. And then he gave 2 reasons. By the way, what is your opinion can be 4 or 5 paragraphs. Okay, if you ask most examiners, they will say that 4 is enough. Okay, pero merong konting leeway yan, 4 or 5. Okay, but please never write 3 paragraphs. You can notice that there I didn't write anything with 3 paragraphs in them. Okay, and please don't write 6. That's gonna be too much. It will take you to what? 350 words na siguro yung 6 na yan. So 4 or 5 lang. Anyway, B. Have them early. Bakit? Because if you're younger, you're more physically fit. You will have a better chance of having children. You will have more energy. And, energy. And then, if you're younger, you will be able to spend more time with your kids. You might see your grandchildren, and there will be a shorter generation gap. By the way, generation gap, band 9. If you use it properly. Okay? So guys, tagdag nyo na. Put it in your notebooks. Generation gap. Start using it in your speaking and in your writing. It's quite easy to use. If you don't know what it means, Google it. Okay? Look at examples. What is the generation gap? Okay, excellent. Let's move on to the next one. To what extent do you agree or disagree with having children later? Let me teach you a very simple technique here. If you get this question, this is mostly an academic question. You rarely see this for general training. Okay, madalang na madalang yan. Okay, so kayo nurses, you nurses will will be seeing this in your test. So what would be a simple trick? You just remove that. Okay, I hope you can see what I did. I crossed out something. I crossed out to what extent. Yan. So anong natira? Agree or disagree. So that makes it simple, right? Also, please pay attention to the connector that they used. Ang ginamit niya, or, in the end. Okay? There's a difference. When they say end, you have to do, all of the things that they, both things that they told you to do. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So it's not optional, no? Pero if they use or, pili ka lang ng isa. You just choose one. It's either you agree or you disagree. You don't need to discuss both. Why am I emphasizing this? I check a lot of papers. I see a lot of candidates who do that. Okay, ang ginagawa nila, paragraph 1, intro, paragraph 2, agree, paragraph 3, disagree, paragraph 4, conclusion. That's a band 5 maximum. Why? Sabi ng, the grading system says, you need to have a clear opinion throughout the essay. Kung agree ka sa paragraph 2 and then you disagree in paragraph 3, then you are inconsistent. Okay, So you only need one opinion. Do you agree or disagree? So the perfect answers, so dalawa, perfect outlines, perfect answers to this. Do you agree or disagree with having children later? Okay? Ano ba yun? A and B. Okay, here are the two answers. Sir, yan din yung answer kanina sa what is your opinion. Yes, exactly. Kasi pareho lang ang what is your opinion and do you agree or disagree. They're the same type of question. You can answer them exactly the same way. Okay. I told you it's simpler than you think. They just changed the wordings, but the answers are the same. There you go. If you agree, if you agree with having children later, the answer would be yan, A. If you disagree with having children later, then it's B. Pareho lang. I hope you got that. How about the fifth one? Do the advantages of having children later outweigh the disadvantages? What's the key word here? What's the most important word? It's outweigh. Ayan po. Alin ang mas matimbang? Okay, here's a simple tip for you. Whenever you see this outweigh, automatic, okay? 5 paragraphs. Do not write 4 paragraphs for this one. It should be 5. Well, technically you can answer with 4, but a 5-paragraph pattern is much easier to write compared to the 4 paragraphs. Okay. So, audience, students, which do you think is the perfect outline? So it's not A, it's not B, it's not D, it's not E. You only have 4 choices. Palagay ninyo. Mhm. Okay, some are saying C, all right. C. Halos C. Wow, good job. Okay, a perfect answer to this would be, hindi ba G? Hindi ba H? Isn't it G or H? So let's take a look at H. Okay, why is this not the perfect answer? Well, they didn't ask for reasons, so that's off topic. Secondly, there's only one positive and one negative. We need to find something that outweighs. Alin yung mas matimbang or outnumbers. So hindi pwede. So H is wrong. Okay, how about G? Oh, we have the negatives and the positives there. However, they seem to be equal and they cannot be equal because the task is they're asking you which one outweighs the other. Hindi rin okay. Best answer is letter C, of course. Why? Okay. And paragraph 1, intro plus opinion, there are more positives than negatives. Paragraph 2, positive. Paragraph 3, positive. Paragraph 4, negative. Paragraph 5, conclusion. So obviously, the positives outweigh the negatives. Very good. However, is this already the best pattern? No. If you want a better score, you can actually mention your negative first. Okay? And then you end with a positive. And this is much better. Now it's perfect. Okay? Sir, hindi ba pwede yung kanina? Can't we say the positives first and then the negative last? No. Okay? If you say that there are more positives than negatives, then the examiner should remember the positives. If your second to the last paragraph is a negative, yun ang maalala ng examiner. It's simple psychology. Usually, we retain what we hear. Usually people retain what they hear last. You want proof? I'll prove it to you. No, so tell me if the statement sounds positive or negative. Okay, sabihin niyo kung maganda o pangit tong statement ko. Listen, here's the first version. Pare, alam mo, pogi ka kaso mataba. So does that sound good or bad to you? Pare, pogi ka sana kaso mataba. So what do you think? Is that I think I don't want to hear. Is that good or bad? Aha. Ang sabi ni ang sabi ni sir, bastos yung kaibigan na yon. Oo nga naman, wag na pare. Okay, so it sounds bad, no? Here's my second statement and tell me, is it good or bad? Okay, pare, mataba ka, pero pogi ka. Uy. Hmm. So which one? Bitter, okay. So which one do you want to hear? Pare, pogi ka na mataba or mataba ka pero pogi? Kung titingnan mo, if you analyze them, they're basically the same thing, no? They're expressing the same message, but the order made a difference. Ayun. The first one was bitter. The second one is in love. Ah, galing. Thank you, sir. So they basically contain the same amount of information, but what made the difference? The order. Okay. So if you're telling the examiner that there are more positives, then you should end with the positive. So this is the perfect order for that. Huwag nyo na pong ibahin. That's it. Okay? Yan. Bawi, oh. Bawi yung second one. Kasi negative pero naging positive pa. Yeah. I always have fun discussing this type of question. No? So, please remember the patterns. Okay? It will save you, what, 2 to 3 minutes of your time. Malaking bagay na yun sa, sa IELTS writing. Okay? Next. What are the benefits and the dangers of deciding to have children later in life? What are the benefits and the dangers? Ano nga ba? So it's not C. Benefits and the dangers. So what do you think, guys? Okay. Mhm. H. Tingnan natin kung H. Benefits. Yung benefit, positive. Tapos dangers, negatives. Pero what about paragraph 2, yung reasons? Take a look at the question. Did it ask for the reasons? Parang hindi, no? So medyo may sobra. That would be considered off topic. Some people are saying G. Tingnan natin. What are the benefits? Benefit, positive yan. Dangers, negative and danger. Okay, and then nothing extra. All right, I think it's G, no? If you have children later in life, the nice thing is you will probably be more financially stable and you will be more mature. So ready ka na mag-anak. On the other hand, negative side, you're a bit older, so yung physical abilities mo might be less, and of course you might have less time together. Oo nga naman. So I think that's G. Okay. The next one, task number 7, this is called a two-part question. Okay, ano ba yung mga two-part questions? What are the reasons? Give some solutions. Ganyan. Pag sinabing two-part questions, it means that they're asking you two questions. And that's easy. Why? You just need to write one paragraph to answer each question. Ganun lang siya. Okay, best answer to this one. Tingnan natin. Why are couples deciding to have children later? This one? Oh, and I think I need to edit this one. Wait lang po. And then the next one is, what are the advantages and, should be like this. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? So you can actually write 4 paragraphs. Okay? So yan po. Yeah. Very good, audience. Ayun. So that's H. So what are the reasons why couples decide to have children later in life? Well, they want more time as a couple. Maybe some of them want to focus on their careers because it's going to be hard to to move up if you have children. It's not impossible. It's just more challenging. And then maybe they had a bad experience when they were children themselves with their parents, so they don't want to repeat the same mistakes. Okay, and then positives and negatives. Yan. I just generalized them for this exercise. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. That's another problem. No? Pero tingnan natin, sabi niya deciding eh. Why are couples deciding to have children later? Okay, so there's an element of decision there. If you're trying and you're not succeeding because of infertility, then it's not your decision, diba? So maybe I wouldn't write infertility there. But if the question said, okay, why are more couples having children later? Then you can write infertility. Kaya di ko siya nilagay because of one word, deciding. So merong free will involved dun eh. So I wouldn't put infertility there. Okay. These are the little things that differentiate a high level from a low level writer. Okay. Next. Do you agree or disagree with this? Alin, yung having children later. How is it affecting the family and society? I think the answer is very clear. Alam niyo na yan, di ba? It's letter F kasi. Do you agree or disagree? So you write your opinion. How is it affecting the family? So effect on family life. And then, how is it affecting society? Effect on society. So the last one, 8, that's F. Yan po. So I hope that helped some of you. No, I hope it cleared your head. Mas malinaw na nga yun yung kailangan yung gawin. So, does anybody have a clarification or a question to make? And tanong na kayo. FB, congrats. Most of you answered F. Very good. Excellent. Mhm. And my last hack for tonight. Habang nagtatype kayo. Yan. My last hack for tonight. Siguro, pinaka-importante sa lahat. Okay? You cannot expect to understand everything from just a 2-hour lecture. What's important is you test yourself. You try it out if you really understand. Okay, so how do you do it? You write regularly. When I say regularly, I don't mean every day. Hirap naman yan, 1 essay a day. Well, if you can do it, that would be nice. Pero make sure that your essay is already checked bago kayo gumawa ng bago. Okay, because if you write like 5 essays without them being checked, then you're just committing the same mistake. Sayang lang effort nyo. Okay, so write one, get it checked, and then use the lessons there for the next essay. How many essays per week? I don't recommend 7. You know, it can be as few as 2, maybe 3. Okay, if you want to improve faster, 3. Okay, if you're just moving at a regular pace, maybe just 2, because you can do other things on the other days of the week. You don't have to write every day. Maybe on Monday, you can just read good samples. On Tuesday, you can just work on outlines. Okay, and then on Wednesday, you can just work on writing introductions. Maybe get 3 topics and write 2 to 3 introductions each. And then Thursday, dun ka magsulat ng buong essay. Friday, have it checked. Saturday, write another whole essay. Sunday, have it checked. So it's better if you have a plan. So planuhin ninyo, right? So please write regularly. If you only write like 1 essay this week, and then next week wala, and then the third week 2 essays, and then the fourth week wala, then don't expect to see a lot of improvement. It's quite easy to get to a band 6. In fact, with the lessons I taught you today, nobody should get lower than 6 already. That's the lowest you can get now. If you apply the lessons, yung paragraphing, having a clear opinion, that's a minimum of 6. What's difficult is jumping from 6 to 6.5 or from 6.5 to 7. Yun ang challenging. So how do you do that? Practicing regularly. Okay? And ano pa, make sure that you're getting good feedback from people, from teachers who know what they're doing. Kasi ganito, you might have friends who are English teachers, but Ielts is not just English. It's very specialized. Okay? In fact, not all English teachers can become Ielts examiners. Okay, I think you need a master's degree. Okay, how to become an examiner? Uy, teka lang, tignan ko lang itong comment. Okay, I'm just gonna answer this first. Now from Roseanne, is it advisable to write your opinion in the introduction or just in the conclusion? Well, grading system says your opinion is clear all throughout the essay. If you just write it in the conclusion, is your opinion clear? No, it's not. Ganito lang yan, no? It doesn't have to be direct all the time because if you're a good enough writer, you can actually imply it. Pwede namang implied yan eh. Hindi naman kailangan direct lahat, especially if you're high level. But there should be some sort of clue. Okay? Good writers can get away with writing it into conclusion, pero gaano ba tayo kagaling magsulat? Maybe we need more practice before we get to that level. So the general advice is, if you're just an average writer like most people, just write it in the introduction, support it in the body, repeat it in the conclusion. Okay, so that you can fulfill the basic requirement. Your opinion is clear all throughout the essay. Okay, so going back. For those of you who are interested in becoming IELTS examiners, madali lang. First of all, you need to get a band score 9. Secondly, you need to study a relevant course and then get a master's degree. An alternative to a master's degree is a CELTA. Okay? Pero yung CELTA parang master's na rin yan. It's 100,000. It's a very intensive 5-week course. And then there's an interview, and then there's training, and then there's certification. So yun lang. Okay, why would you like to become an IELTS examiner? Well, it's about, I don't know. I just heard this. No, I don't know the exact amount, but I think it's about between $400 to $500. Sorry, 400 to 500 pesos per paper. I don't know the exact amount. Okay, it's within that range, mga $10 siguro. Okay, sarap, no? If you can check like 8 papers in an hour, ilan yun? 500 times 8. Mahina ako sa math. Oh, that's about what? 4,000? Sarap. So guys, make sure that you're getting feedback from people who know the grading system, from people who know what they're doing. Okay, and that's the reason why we designed our program that way. Yung pong program ng World English, our IELTS review program, focuses mainly on one-on-one. Okay, we drop the old style of having group classes. Okay, because you can only learn, if you're not shy, if you're confident, if you're comfortable with asking your teacher questions. So, if you enroll with us, you can, bring as many essays as you can, and we will finish as many as we can in an hour. One session is usually 1 hour. Okay, so ito po, write regularly so that you can apply the lessons that you've learned, and then get feedback so that you know if you're doing it properly. Okay, sir. Yeah, my classmate took the test and she got 7. So I'm just asking her to check my paper. Okay, that's good for her. She got 7, but do they know how to grade? Ganun lang naman yan. Okay. So other questions, clarifications, or requests? I'll give you some time to type. Sige. No question is too difficult. Sige lang po. Before I move on to the next portion. Okay. All right, now we get to a more exciting part, no? Okay, hi to our 77 FB Live participants and 45 Zoom participants. Yan, and padami pa sila. Okay, for the next part, I want you to help me out. Okay, so choose an IELTS task 2 writing question, and I will show you how to pre-write it. Any topic. Mas exciting kasi yung yung on the spot. I like putting myself on the spot. So you can choose any topic, and then I'll show you how to prepare writing it. Maybe we can finish 2 or 3 before our time is up. Sige po. Just type it there in the chat box. Okay? Pa-help na lang po dun sa FB Live.
Guys, don't be shy. Hello po.
Any topic.
Baka Sir Lee ibang topic ang i-open nila.
Okay lang yan.
Yeah, guys, I think, especially yung mga participants natin, please type in so you can evaluate Sir Lee na legit talaga tong on the spot niya. Kasi
sinasabi
sa amin
ko sa
lang
inyo.
gagaling, sabi niyo scripted.
From the audience. Yeah. Kasi, most of the people that you watch may naka-prepare na, di ba? It's easy to do that.
Yes.
Preparing a PowerPoint. Pero, yeah, just to show you the caliber of the teachers in our company, any IELTS topic, and I'll show you how to do it on the spot para kayo rin magawa ninyo. Yan.
By the way, Sir Lee, we've heard so many compliments po from your last lecture.
Really?
Oo, sasabi, Yun nga yung lecture daw before, parang, uy, it's great. Sabi parang fresh na fresh daw. I mean, kaya they're really looking forward for your lecture.
Akala ko nabobore sila kasi wala masyadong nagre-react eh.
Kaya siguro talagang ano po sila, tawag nito, attentive. Kaya on Facebook, we are asking them to ask any questions, pero wala.
Hindi, meron na ito. So, don't worry, make it as hard as you can. As long as it's a legit IELTS question. Baka pang yan. Baka pang PhD yung tatanong nyo. Wala pa akong PhD.
May question from Rhea Zhao.
Sige. Gusto nyo nuclear energy, ganyan. Nakita ko yun sa isang exam eh. Nuclear power, my God. Sakit sa ulo. Okay. Establishing good relationships in the workplace is not important as the primary goal of every person is to focus on work. Nice.
Apo.
To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Sige, on the spot natin Dali lang yan. Huwag kayong magpa-intimidate siya. So, I'm gonna put it here on this document. So I hope it's readable. Maybe we can enlarge it a little bit. There you go. Yan. So first is analyze, establishing good relationships in the workplace. What kind of relationships are we talking about here? Of course, it's probably not romantic relationships. It's professional relationships. It's It's team relationships. Okay, it's working relationships. So it's not important now because the primary goal is to focus on work. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? I think we can start with the outline right away. So outline. I require my students, when they submit their writing, I require them to include the outline and the vocab. Why? Because if I don't, di ko alam, a lot of people have the tendency to take shortcuts eh. Hindi gagawin. Sasabihin na, okay, sir, sorry, I forgot. Next time I'm gonna do it. No. Discipline yourselves. Okay. If you're gonna enroll with us and if you're gonna get me as your teacher, if you don't include the outline and the vocab, I will not check your paper. Sorry medyo demanding ako. So, outline. Pwedeng 4, pwedeng 5. Okay, kasi to what extent do you agree or disagree? And by the way, you can erase to what extent to make it easier. Yan. So ano natira? Do you agree? Siyempre implied dyan yung disagree. Okay, it's already implied. They don't need to write it out explicitly. So do you agree or disagree with this statement? Okay, so pwedeng 4 or 5, you have your intro. And then you have, your two arguments, your body paragraphs, body, tapos body, and then your conclusion. Maybe isa pa, yan. Okay, and then you also need an opinion. Kasi tinanong ka, do you agree or disagree? Guys, here's a tip. Please do not use the words agree or disagree when you write your intro. Okay, why? Because it's already written in the question. In fact, if you want an easy time to write, your conclusion, sa conclusion, pwede na. When you write your conclusion, you can start copying these words from the question, but not in the introduction because you have to establish your vocabulary first. So iwasan ninyo yung agree or disagree when you write your opinion. Okay, do it later na lang. So anyway, opinion. Here you go. Wow, this is so controversial, no? My opinion is relationships are important, are critical. Okay? By the way, there's no wrong opinion. No? If you agree, okay lang. If you disagree, okay lang. What matters is your English. They will not judge you based on your opinion. Wala namang maling opinion dyan eh. Kunwari, tinanong ka, okay, do you agree or disagree that Hitler was a very good leader? Okay, you can say no, I think Hitler was a good leader despite doing some bad things. As long as you can do it in good English, papasa ka. They really don't judge you based on your opinion. English lang po, no? Vocabulary, grammar, ang iba, task achievement, task response, and then cohesion and coherence. Yun lang ang tinitingnan. But I think the answer to this is obvious, okay? Relationships are critical. Now, you need to think of at least 2 arguments. Ba't sinabi mo yan? Bakit hindi yung kabila? Okay, so what do you think? Because employees, okay, perform better, okay, in good environments. Okay, if people, kayo, nurses kayo, in the hospital, would it be better? Would you be better in your job if the doctors and the other nurses and the staff and the security personnel and the maintenance personnel don't speak to you, kanya-kanyang banat? No. Okay, because let me paraphrase that one. Because relationships are crucial to a good work environment. That's the first reason. Okay. Second reason is, yung sinabi ko kanina, employees become better, okay, when there are good relationships. Why? Because nagkakaroon ng mentoring, nagkakaroon ng transfer of skills, from veteran employees to new employees, transfer of skills. Then you also have better management. Okay, better management of what? Of patients in your case, or for other people of their projects. Okay, so again, these are the things that you can mention. So this is how I would approach it. Okay, and then you can also work on your vocabulary para siguradong mataas na. So vocabulary, here you go. Okay, take a look at the question. Which do you think will be repeated over and over again? Yeah, in the essay. So ano yan? So good. Okay, what else? Relationships. Okay, can you imagine it already? You'll write relationships in the intro, in the body, and in the conclusion. So kailangan may synonyms, may paraphrase. Ano pa? The workplace. Okay, what else will be repeated? Is not important. Okay, and then because the primary goal of every person is to focus on work. Ayan, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sabi sa inyo, it's only 4 to 6 lang lagi yan. So I think these will be the words that would be repeated a lot pag nagsulat tayo. So you prepare for them so that you can easily get that band 7 that you need. Okay? So, good. Okay? Ano ba yung pwedeng ipalit sa good? Establishing good relationships. Good would be excellent. Pwede. Pero mas maganda, healthy relationships. Okay? How many do you need to come up with? 2 or 3, that's enough. Okay? You don't need like 10. Bakit? Hindi naman to contest. No, it's not. You're not being asked to write a dictionary. 2 to 3 would be fine. So excellent relationships, healthy relationships. Okay. What? Friendly but professional. There you go. Next, relationships, connections. Anything else? Good relationships, good connections. Now, if you cannot think of a totally different word, what you can do is just edit the existing word. Instead of relationships, pwede nyo dagdagan, working relationships. Relationships. There you go. Okay. The workplace, pwede namang at work. You can use words like professional. Okay. You can use at the office. Okay? In your case, maybe you can say in the hospital. Okay. How about important? Okay. Critical. You can also say valuable and much more. You're not limited to these. Important, critical, valuable. Okay. And then person. You can say individuals. That's generic. You can also be more specific. You can say staff, personnel, because this is what we're talking about, diba? At work. Okay? Ano pa? Workers. But I don't think you should say laborers. Okay? Okay na masyado yan. Okay? Is to focus on work. Your work, Your job, your career. Career, maybe not. Maybe in your output or outputs. Okay? So ayan po. So I think if I ask you to write an essay now, it will be much easier for you. Bakit? Kasi you know which words to replace and meron na rin kayong plano. Okay, some people say, sir, di na ako nagsulat ng outline kasi I was scared maubusan ako ng oras, but it will actually save you time if you outline. Okay, and it will help in increasing your score in task achievement and in coherence and cohesion. Okay. Oh, we have other action, other vocab here. Sabi niya, significant. Oh, that's nice. Let's include that one. Important, critical, valuable, significant. Excellent. And then another one is ano to? Interaction, communication. Relationship, no? Excellent. So I'm gonna include both interaction and communication. Galing. Ganda na ng essay na to. All right. So we have time for one more. Let's take a look at the others. Mariel, kulit mo. Okay ito. I'm gonna answer this question first. Sir, in writing task 2, complete po yung intro, body, example, conclusion, pero di po umabot ng 250. Magiging mababa po ba ang score niya? Of course, yeah, there's an automatic deduction. Okay, the more words missing, the bigger the deduction. Okay, paano yung deduction nila? Every 50 words, -1. Every 50 words missing, -1 for task achievement. So if you're missing like 49, 38, 27, 19, ayan. Okay, -1 for task achievement. If you're missing between 50 and 100, that's -2. If it's more than 100, it's a -3. I rarely see people na may -2 tsaka -3. It's usually -1. Okay, pero you know what, Ma'am Mariel, if you wrote all of these, okay, hindi ka umabot ng 250, it might be because kulang yung ideas or you're using too many short, too many simple structures, yung mga mga simple sentences lang. Okay, so you should learn how to extend sentences in a good way, not in a bad way. Okay, let's take a look at the other questions. Yung number 2. Ito, ano to, medyo controversial. Some people believe that women should be able to join their country's army and police forces, but others disagree. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay, let's use this one. I have 5 minutes, so this will be the last. Maybe we can discuss the others the next time. Gonna put it on the next page. No? Guys, I hope it's readable. Okay, discuss both views and give your opinion. You can remove this one. Itong including examples from your knowledge and experience because they always add that. Lahat ng IELTS questions nakalagay yan. Just remove it. Not important. Okay? So, this time I'm gonna do the reverse. I'm gonna start with the vocab. At bibilisan ko ng konti, no? Because we're about to finish. So, some. Okay, and then people. Believe, standard opening ng IELTS to. Women. Army. Ako, paraphrase nyo na. Police. Okay. But others disagree. Okay lang to. 6 lang sila. Okay, some. Generic to. There are a number of. Okay. And then people. Individuals. Men and women. And in fact, you can even replace it with groups. Diba? Groups of people. Mga grupo. Ayan. Believe. They think. They say. They argue. They opine. Yeah. I think I'd remove say here because it's low level. Okay. Women, females. The fairer sex. How about army? Testingin nga natin yung audience natin. How about the army? Army. By the way, the army is just it's a specific group kasi meron ding Air Force. Okay? Then you have ano ba? The Coast Guard. Yan. Parte din sila niyan. Then you have the Marines. So what do we call these people? Okay, very good. The military. Or a good word would be, alam niyo yung AFP? AFP, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Ayun, the Armed Forces, the military. Or you can even say soldiers. Okay, how about the police? Police, battalion is battalion division. Okay, these are numbers. Okay. Oh, police. Maybe you can also use the generic term uniformed personnel. Yan. They also use it. Okay. For police, you can call them law enforcement. Law enforcement. You can call them police officers. Okay, you can call them law enforcers. Ayun, ang dami naman pala. O dito pa lang sa preparation natin, mataas na yung score ninyo. Would I say cops? I wouldn't say cops. Bakit? You're required to be more formal kasi academic kayo. Okay? Cops, okay yan sa GT, okay lang. It's less formal. But for you guys, academic kayo. You have to be more formal. So law enforcement, law enforcers, police officers, yan yung gagamitin niyo. Okay? Next would be the outline. Medyo controversial to. Sige. The first one would be your intro. Then you can include your thesis statement if you want, opinion. And then dalawang view, di ba? So you have view A and then you have view B. And then you need to give your own opinion. So just call it your view. And then paragraph 5 would be your conclusion. Okay, ano kasing view A? Sabi niya, they should be able to join. Yun ang mga view B, ang sabi niya, don't join. Siyempre, opposite. Or don't allow. Yan, wag silang pasalihin. And then my view would be, of course, you. Okay. They have to be allowed. Yan yung sa akin, siyempre. Right? Now, let's start with paragraph A. Sabi nila, women should be allowed to join our police and military. Oh, bakit? Now, some people would say because they want. Okay. Wag muna, sige. I'm just gonna let you think for a minute. So why should women be allowed to join? Ngayon, kung di kayo makapag-isip, if you're having a hard time coming up with ideas, you don't need to do it in order because that's the nice thing about the outline. Okay? Wala kang maisip sa paragraph 2, then go to paragraph 3 first. So don't allow. So what would be the most common reasons why they are saying no, women should not be allowed to join the military? Well, of course, yung physical aspect niyan . Okay? Yung physical qualities ng babae, they are ito yung lagi kong narinig, sinasabi, they are smaller, they are weaker, they are less muscular. Yan yung laging sinasabi, di ba? Remember, paragraphs 2 and 3, hindi nyo opinion to. This is the opinion of other people. So make sure you don't say I or me. You can say some people or other. Okay? And then another reason, menstruation and pregnancy. Why? Because if the soldier is pregnant, kailangan niyang mag-maternity leave. If there's a war to be fought, buntis, so basically daw useless kasi buntis . Okay? And then sinasabi ng iba, they're gonna be less effective during certain times of the month kasi nga nagme-menstruation sila. Although if you're a woman, you probably know na this is not totally true. Okay? And there are other arguments, but you don't need too many. Remember, 250 words lang to. Hindi yan parami yan ng ideas. You zero in on maybe one or two ideas and then work on explaining them. Okay? So ano to? Mga 2 to 3 sentences for this, and then for B, 2 to 3 sentences. O, tapos na. Okay? How about the first one? Why should they be allowed to join? Sabi ng iba, so that they can receive training. That's actually not a good argument, no? Magjo-join sila para makapag-train sila. No, not a good. Okay, so they need to be citizens. So they are citizens, so kailangan lahat ng citizens mo merong equal chances. Okay, that's a good one. Secondly, if we allow them to join, okay, there would be a bigger pool to choose from. Kasi, men make up like half of the population. Eh di limited ka na. Kunwari, 100 million yung citizens mo. Lalaki lang tatanggapin mo. Limited ka na dun sa 50 million. But if you allow both genders, then you have a double, di ba? Double the pool. So a bigger pool of candidates to choose from. Equality. Yeah, most people would say equality. Okay, but that's one idea. Will you be able to write like 4 sentences about equality without being repetitive? It's going to be difficult. Okay. Anyway, my opinion, they have to be allowed. Now, yung opinion ko kapareho ng paragraph 2. But I cannot just repeat. The the ideas there. Because if I do that, okay, then it's not gonna be a nice essay. Yan, kinape-paste ko lang. Then what's the point? Eh di sana nag 4 paragraphs na lang ako. Make sure that your most convincing arguments are in paragraph 4 and that you're not just copying what you've already written. So what's my view? Why should they be allowed? Well, because military and police work is not just fighting. Diba? What do you need? You need planning. Okay? You need medical services. That's why there are military nurses, military doctors, police nurses. Okay? You have logistics. You have public relations. And, the military and the police, they also need lawyers. May police lawyers, may military lawyers din sila, di ba? O, tapos law. Of course. Okay? So, ayan. So, in some areas, women actually are better over men, di ba? Pagdating na sa logistics siguro, mas magaling sila. Pagdating sa public relations, they're better. And of course, not all of your citizens are males, di ba? Maybe women are better when it comes to handling children, plus other women. BAUC, violence against women and children. There you go. I think this is actually enough of a reason. Okay? So, and working together gives better results overall. Okay, and in fact, I think itong working together gives better results. Mas bagay siya sa conclusion. So I'm just gonna put it there. Okay. There you go. And that is my outline for this one. Okay, so I wish we had more time. Okay, that's it for me. Let's take a look at the other questions or comments. Wala na po. All right. So I hope that cleared things up for you guys. Take a screenshot. So final question, so we can go to sleep. Okay, ma'am, that's it for me. Thank you very much, admins. All right. Grover, what do you mean by word limit? No problem po. Yeah. So guys, hope to see you. If you're interested in asking about our programs, siyang pakilagay sa chat box yung details natin. Also, you have the numbers here behind me. Okay, or you can contact us on Facebook. your word limit, at least 250 words, again, like what I said in the first hour of the lecture, most people who get band 7, 8, 9, they write between 270 and 280. And that's, official research. 270 to 280 would be a good word count. Somebody's requesting the first one. Okay, here. Let me zoom out. There you go. Ayan po. Yan, take a screenshot. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been doing this for 16 years. So it's been a long time. Okay, so guys, get feedback from people who know what to look for, people who know what they're doing, people who know how to check. So our numbers are behind me. You can contact us on Facebook or send me a message. I'll be answering you. Right. So thank you very much. So admins, I hand it over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir DJ, for that informative lecture. And I think there's no other question from our Zoom participants. Sir Jeff?
Yes. So guys, do you have any question? So mukhang wala. Pero like what, kung mag-exam pa ako, no, talagang for me, promising kasi something different style na hindi ko alam noon na ganun pala pwede. So especially sa writing, now kasi hindi na lahat ng members is for US, may mga UK and Canada na rin. So required sila sa writing. So ang writing kasi yung pinakamahirap, kailangan natin ng someone na expert talaga na mag-a-assess. Hindi siya katulad ng
I've actually written like 4 books for writing. Okay, 2 writing task, isang writing task 1 academic, isang writing task 1 GT. I'll just post them later.
Yes. So guys, members, so if you find yung lecture ni Sir Lee J is very effective, you can contact them. Or pwedeng kami din kasi forward namin yung queries ninyo sa kanila. So if you have questions or nahihiya kayo, mag-DM na lang kayo sa amin sa IFNG. So guys, yung talagang kailangan nyo ng mataas na score sa writing, better get an Ielts expert talaga.
Advice from the expert, yes.
Yeah, HB sir, yes, noted po. Thanks po. Yes.
All right, guys. Bye-bye for me. Have
So
a happy
thank you so
weekend.
much again, Sir Lee J and the rest of World English Review.
No
And
problems.
to all the members who attended Zoom and Facebook. So see you again next time. Okay. It was really productive day and night.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Nice day,
Lee J,
everyone.
Marvin, and Gladys. Thank you so much for opening this session.